Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're coming to you tonight from the Raymond Theater in Pasadena, and it's a beautifully restored a theater. Al Jolson once appeared here, Burns and Allen, Jack Benny, and it's a lot of fun. You heard the theme from the first show, and when I did the first show, the Bob Newhart show, if there was one letter and one question I was asked more than any other, it was, did you do anything before this? And so this tonight's show is kind of to prove that, yes, I did do something before the Bob Newhart show. I was a stand-up comic. We didn't call him stand-up in those days because sometimes you would sit down, you know. But I was a stand-up comic and made a couple record albums. And during the lean years, the years before I did stand-up, or finally broke through in stand-up, I held a lot of weird jobs, like, and this is true, I'm not making this up. I was once worked for the Illinois State Unemployment Compensation Board. This is true. I worked behind the counter, and we got $60 a week, and the claimants at that time got 55. It's true. And they only had to come in one day a week, you know? So it took me about a week to figure that out, because I'm not the swiftest guy in the world. So I arranged to get fired and wound up, you know, coming in one day a week and losing $5. But it's been my experience in comedy that most good comedy comes out of your own personal experiences. And I grew up in Chicago, and the area of town I grew up in was at the end of the bus line, and the bus drivers would turn around and they'd head back downtown. So I had been watching bus drivers since I was like 5 or 6 years old, and became convinced very early there must be a school that all bus drivers attend, because they couldn't innately know these things that they're able to do. So I'd like to take you now to that school, and as we enter the course, we find the instructor talking to the student bus drivers. Gentlemen, you have just completed what's known as a basic course in bus driving. We're going to present you here with actual situations you'll encounter while driving your buses. And it's primarily designed to find out whether you're going to be good bus drivers or possibly one of the great all-time bus drivers. Of course, when I say great all-time bus drivers, immediately comes to mind the name Larry Strickland. Probably the greatest bus driver of the 40s and then into the 50s. Neil Norlag, certainly the greatest left-handed bus driver we've ever seen. So what we're going to do, we're going to take one of the students, Johnson, yeah, you want to get in the bus, and Mrs. Selkirk, yeah, you want to get back to your marks. And we're going to present you with situations you'll very often encounter on your buses. All right, Johnson, yeah, you pull your bus in. All right, discharge your passengers. Now, out of the rearview mirror, you'll notice this old woman running for the bus. Yeah, you want to start running, Mrs. Selkirk? Let's see how Johnson handles this. You're pulling out much too fast, Johnson. Hold it. Hold it. Yeah, she gave up halfway up in the block that time. Yeah. You know, what you want to do is just kind of gradually ease out, you know, and you're kind of always holding out the hope they can catch up with the bus, you know what I mean? Now, another thing you have to watch, a lot of these older women, they'll run at 3/4 speed and then they'll put on a final burst and catch up with the bus. So, all right, Johnson, let's try another one. Graham, you want to try your hand the same problem? Yeah, you want to get back to your marks, Mrs. Selkirk? Okay, same situation. You pull in, discharge your passengers. All right, you want to start running, Mrs. Selkirk? Let's see how Graham handles this. Did you see how he slammed the door right in her face that time? That's called your perfect pullout. And now, it wasn't part of the problem, Graham, but it shows you're thinking on your feet. You blocked 2 full lanes of traffic that time. Very good. Okay, Graham, yeah, Miss Selkirk will try situation 13, okay? Yeah. Graham, we'll stay with you. You're doing very well. This happens very often. You're on your route. All of a sudden, a car pulls in front of you, and on the back is a sign, caution student driver learning to drive, something like that. All right. But yeah, Graham, you want to be driving? All right, Miss Selkirk, you want to pull in front of him? Let's see how Graham handles this. Excellent. Excellent. He got back, I guess about 10, 15 car lengths, got it up to around 60. And then when he's right on top of her, bang, he comes down on his brakes. And then hit the horn with his elbow. Could you notice how the car just kind of swerved out of control when she dove for the floorboard? Oh, very good, Graham. All right, yeah, Miss Selkirk, you want to extricate yourself? Well, just crawl out the window. I think that's going to be a lot faster. Yeah. Okay, now this is the situation, and this will be our final situation. You're the woman getting on the bus with the packages. And I'm going to have to help you with this because this requires a lot of practice, but believe me, it's worth it. So, all right, get on the bus, that's the way. Got a bunch of packages, now fumble for your change. Very good. All right, now start heading toward the back of the bus. Hit your accelerator. All right. Now you brake, hit your accelerator again. Brake again. Do you see how he kept her spinning in the aisle there? Now the first couple times you try that, you may hit your brake a little too soon, you may hit the accelerator a little too soon, but I guarantee you within 5 or 6 months, you should be able to keep a woman spinning in the aisle for an indefinite amount of time. All right. You want to get in your individual buses, and just remember, accelerator, brake. Tomorrow, we will study the mispronunciation of street names, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyway, I held a number of different jobs, and every job I would go to, they would always be having like a week's orientation program, and they would present you with every problem you would be faced with during your first day on the job. And now, I'm going to do a little switch here, but I'll tie the two things together. One of my favorite movies is King Kong, and the big scene, of course, is when King Kong climbs the outside of the Empire State Building. Now, to tie them together, I thought, what if the night that King Kong climbed the outside of the Empire State Building, it was also the first night on the job for a new guard. He had gone through a week's orientation program on the problems he could expect to face his first night on the job. I think his day might have gone something like this. Mr. Hennessy? Yes, sir. I hate to bother you at home like this on my first night, but something has come up, and it isn't covered in the guard's manual. I looked in the index. Yes, sir. I looked under unauthorized personnel and people without passes. And apes and apes' toes. Apes and apes' toes. There's an ape's toe sticking through the window. Well, see, he isn't your standard ape, sir. He's between 18 and 19 stories high, depending on whether we have a 13th floor or not. Yeah, well, I'm sure there's a rule against apes shaking the building. There is. Yeah, so I yelled at his feet, and I said, "Shoe ape," and I'm sorry, but you're going to have to leave. And then I know how you like the new men to think on their feet, so I went into the broom closet, and I got a broom without signing out a requisition. I will tomorrow, yes, sir. And I started banging him on the toes with it, but see, there are these planes flying around, and they're shooting at him, and he's only swatting at them, you know. So I figured I wasn't doing, you know, too much good with the broom. You don't care what I do, just get the ape off the building. This could complicate things a little, sir. When he passed by here, he was carrying a woman in his hand. Well, I don't think she works in the building, no, sir. Yeah, she had kind of negligee on, you know, so I doubt it, she's one of the cleaning women. Well, the first thing I did, I filled out a report on it. Well, I don't want to give the building a bad name either, sir, but, you know, these planes are shooting at him, and they're starting to hit him, and, you know, people are going to come to work tomorrow morning, and they're going to have to walk around the big dead ape in the street and start putting two and two together, you know. I think we're safe on that score, sir. I doubt very much if he signed the night guest book downstairs. You don't care what I do, just get the ape off the building. Well, I came up with an idea, but you know, I'm not supposed to leave my post. Yeah, I thought maybe I could smear the Chrysler building with bananas. Hello. You know, occasionally you'll write a routine and perform a routine that is more viable 30 years later than it was at the time you wrote it, and I think that's true of this routine. It had to do with a book called The Hidden Persuaders by Vance Packard, and I think the first book I ever read on the packaging of the president, and it got me to wondering that if this science of packaging were as far advanced during the Civil War as it is today, and there was no Lincoln, that they would have had to create a Lincoln out of the guy in office. And I think this would be a telephone conversation between the PR man and Abe just before Gettysburg. Hi, Abe, sweetheart. How's everything, kid? How's Gettysburg? You know them small Pennsylvania towns, Abe, right? You seen one, you've seen them all, huh? Listen, Abe, I got you know what seems to be the problem. You're thinking of shaving it off. Hey, Abe, don't you see that's part of the image, along with the shawl and the stovepipe hat? You don't have the shawl. Where's the shawl, Abe? You left it in Washington. Well, what are you wearing, Abe? It's a kind of cardigan. Abe, leave the beard on and the stovepipe hat and get a shawl, okay? Now, what's the problem? You're getting a lot of complaints on Grant's drinking. To be honest with you, Abe, I don't know what the problem is. I mean, you knew he was a lush when you appointed him, you know? Your gag writers, yeah, they're here. Why, Abe? You'd like to come back with a snapper the next time they hit you about Grant. Okay, I'll get him working on it, Abe. Abe, you got the speech. You haven't changed the speech, have you, Abe? Abe, why do you change the speeches all the time? What are the changes? You typed it? Abe, how many times have we told you on the backs of envelopes? Well, it looks like you wrote it on the train coming down. Well, I know it's harder to read, Abe, but could you put it on the backs of the envelopes and memorize it? Yeah, we're getting a lot of play in the press on that. How are the envelopes holding out? You could use another box. Okay. Anything else in the speech, Abe? People will little note nor long remember. What could possibly be wrong with that, Abe? Abe, they'll remember it. Trust me, Abe. Abe, what are you going to say? It was a great speech. I think everybody will remember it. I mean, you come off a bragging.
Do this speech the way Charlie wrote it, would you please? You talk to some newspapermen. Abe, we've asked you not to talk to newspapermen. Well, you always put your foot... See, that's what I mean, Abe. No, Abe, you were a rail splitter, then an attorney. So, Abe, you wouldn't give up your law practice to become a rail splitter. Hey, read the bio, will you? It'll save us a lot of trouble on this end. Oh, by the way, the Abe Lincoln T-shirt is coming out Tuesday. Is there any way of working that into the address, do you think? I'll leave that up to you. Play it by ear, right? Yeah, Abe, you got a pencil and paper there? Yeah, would you mind taking this down? You can fool all of the people some of the time, and some of the people all of the time. But you can't fool all the people all the time. Well, you keep doing it differently, Abe. I mean, the last quote we got was, you can fool all the people all the time. Hold on, Abe. Yeah. Great. Abe? Yeah, they've come up with a thing on Grant. The next time they bug you about Grant's drinking, yeah, tell him you're going to find out what brand he drinks and send a case of it to all your other generals. No, Abe. It's like... It's like the brand is the reason that he's winning. No, Abe. Trust me, Abe, it's funny. Do it, okay? That would be this Saturday night? Oh, that's a shame, Abe. We're going to be in New York. A bridge party at the White House. Oh, that's a shame. Did you call Seward? He's going to be out on the Alaskan thing, yeah. Oh, that's the same. Just the two of you. You and, what's her name? Mary, right. Oh, that's a shame. Abe? Why don't you take in a play? I mentioned before the number of jobs I held. I was in service in 1952 to 1954, the Army actually, and it didn't take me long to realize that in large corporations and especially the military, the Peter principle seems to apply more than anywhere else. A man literally can be promoted fully 3 or 4 levels above his competency in the military, and this was illustrated by a record routine about a captain on a nuclear submarine who had been... I know some of you know these routines by heart, but it throws me off to watch your lips move along with mine as I'm doing it. Anyway, it was one of the most disastrous trips ever taken by a submarine, and the captain got up and he gave an address to the men after they had completed their 2-year around-the-world trip. And he's making these remarks just as they're about to surface. Man, in a few minutes you're going to be reunited with your loved ones, and in some cases your wives. Well, I may not have phrased that correctly, but I think you may know what I meant there. I've just jotted down a couple things regarding our trip. First of all, I'd like you to give the cooks a standing ovation. It is a tremendously difficult job on a submarine. You men want to stand now for the cooks? Come on now, men. Let's let bygones be bygones and hear it for the cooks. That's a little better. As we're adding another glorious page to the already illustrious history of the USS Codfish, I don't know if you men know this, the Codfish holds the record for the most Japanese tonnage sunk, being comprised of 5 freighters and 5 aircraft carriers. Unfortunately, they were all sunk in 1954 when we were no longer at war with the Japanese. However, it stands as one of the largest peacetime tonnages ever sunk. Oh, we've just been officially notified. We have cut a full 2 minutes off the previous record of 4 minutes and 29 seconds, and surfacing, firing at the tow target, and then resubmerging. And I just want to congratulate you men on the precision and the teamwork you displayed at that time. At the same time, I don't in any way mean to slight the contribution made by the men we had to leave on deck. I think they in no small way had an awful lot to do with the 2 minutes we were able to take off the record, and I doubt if any of us will soon forget their somewhat stunned expressions as we watched them through the periscope. Man, nobody enjoys a joke more than I do. However, I would like the executive officer returned. We've looked all over the ship. We looked in your duffel bags, in the torpedo tubes. You know, we're lucky it wasn't a navigational officer, but I think there's a principle involved here. Looking back on the mutiny, I think I think a lot of the problem there stemmed from the fact that you men weren't coming to me with your problems. As I tried to explain to you as we started out, the door to my office is always open. I think you know why it's always open. That was stolen. I'd like that returned. Could be the work of the same man. I don't know. Since we started the trip on such a low note, I'd like to end it on a high note. And to me, there's nothing more impressive in the Navy than as a submarine just breaks water to see a bunch of sailors in their dress blues as they come rushing up out of the hole in the front of the boat. Hatch, thank you very much. Yeah. Oh, all right. I've just been notified we are going to be surfacing, and within a minute or two, you're going to be gazing once again on the familiar skyline of either New York City, or is that Buenos Aires? I can't make out your writing. Thank you very much, man. You know, a lot of material comes out of things that you read in the paper. Like there was a thing, there was this Spanish bullfighter, a one-eyed Spanish bullfighter. It's a true story, and he was reapplying for his license. They never explained how he lost his eye. You just kind of had to, you know, put two and two together to figure out what happened. And he was reapplying to fight the bulls. And now you would think if there's any occupation where you want to have two really good eyes, it would seem to be bullfighting. You know, that would certainly be up toward the top anyway. Because you could see the guy. Now I can't see him. I can hear him. I can hear him, all right. Anyway, this was a thing, was in the paper. And a plane was flying, military plane, a bomb dropped, came loose, and fell down to earth. It didn't explode or anything, and all major cities have this expert bomb squad, bomb disposal squad. And it's always these expert, courageous men. And I always wondered, what would happen if a team of non-expert, non-courageous men were faced with the task of defusing a bomb? And I pictured this small coastal city. Now, the chief, the lieutenant, is expecting nothing more than a routine phone call from one of his patrolmen. Lieutenant Stevenson here. Patrolman Willard Hackmaster. Willard, you were supposed to call in 10 minutes ago. You found a shell on the beach. You think that's unusual, do you, Willard, finding a shell on the beach? It isn't that kind of shell, huh? Doesn't it sound like the ocean when you hold it up to your ear, Willard? Or... Oh, that kind of shell. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that was your watch making that ticking. Yeah. I'm going to give it to you straight, Willard. You got a live one there. Yeah. Willard, don't hang up. Willard, and stop that whining. There's nothing to worry about as long as that thing is ticking. It's when it stopped ticking we've got some problems, okay? Yeah, now you and we're going to disarm that thing. Well, no, I'm not coming down there, Willard, no. Now, don't bring it in here, Willard, no! You know, I can't leave the office anytime I want, Willard. I mean, I'm taking just as big a chance as you are. I mean, if that thing goes off, it's me they're going to want to talk to, not you. All right, now describe the thing to me, Willard. Yeah, it sounds like a torpedo of some kind, Willard. It's probably one of ours. Any writing on it? Made in Japan. Yeah, well, it still could be one of ours, Willard. Yeah. Is there a serial number or anything, Willard? I got the manual right here in front of me. X5307. Let me look it up. Uh-oh. Nothing, Willard. Boy, you found a beauty there, Willard. You know how powerful that baby is? 6 city blocks, Willard. What do you mean you call me back? There's a telephone booth 7 blocks away. Willard! Willard, I know this is dangerous, but if we can save one human life, that's the way you feel about it, eh, Willard? How long has the thing been ticking, Willard? About 5-6 minutes. Well, we're going to have to work a lot faster than I thought, Willard. Yeah, Willard, toward the end of it, there's a plate. Do you see the plate held on by 4 screws? Yeah, now, the manual says those screws should be carefully removed with an LT 109 screwdriver with a plastic handle and a demagnetized head. You don't have one, huh, Willard? Well, I'll use a dime then, Willard. Willard, we're going to get that thing fixed. If it's the last, we'll get it fixed, Willard. Just don't worry. Okay, now inside there's a wheel of some kind. You see that? Yeah. Yeah, try turning the wheel. Yeah, it's ticking a lot faster now, isn't it, Willard? Yeah. All right, now you see there's some wires inside there? Yeah, there are 2 wires. And the manual says, under no circumstances... Oh, great, somebody spilled coffee all over the manual. Oh, Willard, yeah, you hear the clicking on the line? Yeah, that means I have an incoming call. It's called call waiting. Yeah. Let me put you on hold, Willard, okay? Hello? I'm sorry, I think you want the fire department. That's all right. Yeah, Willard, so... Willard? Willard!
So this is a thing on discoveries and how I usually precede this with a joke, which never gets a laugh. So don't feel bad. It's a masochistic thing I enjoy doing, but it's a thing on Edison, and Edison is very excited about this new invention he's come up with, and he calls all these newspaper people together in this totally dark room, and in the center of the room there's a bulb with a filament inside and a cord running out, and a guy working a generator over in the corner. And Edison walks in the room, newsmen are all over the room, and he takes the plug and he plugs it into the generator, and the bulb begins to glow, and it just fills the entire room with light. Well, the newsmen are just astounded, and they start to rush out to file their stories. And Edison walks to the door and he says, no, gentlemen, please return to your seats. That isn't it. And he walks up to the bulb and he says, hello? There we go. This is a thing on inventions, and how it takes like 30 or 40 years before an invention is really found out to be a great invention, like the airplane or the telephone. Today we have a multi-billion-dollar industry, the tobacco industry. And as you all know, tobacco was introduced to civilization by Sir Walter Raleigh. He was working for the West Indies Company here in the colonies, and the uses of tobacco are not obvious right off the bat. If you tried to explain tobacco to someone who was totally unfamiliar with it, it would not be an easy task. So I imagine a phone conversation between Sir Walter Raleigh and the head of the West Indies Company in London, England, as Walt broke the news of this great new discovery.
Yeah, who is it, Mary? Sir Walter Raleigh from the colonies. Yeah, put him on, Mary. Harry, yeah, you want to get on your extension? Yeah, it's Nutty Walt again, yeah. Well, hi, Walt guy. Well, it's great hearing your voice again. It sure is, Walt. Things are fine here in England, Walt. Did what? Did the boatload of turkeys arrive all right? Yeah, they arrived fine, Walt. They're still here, as a matter of fact, Walt. Yeah, they're wandering all over London, as a matter of fact, Walt. Yeah, see, that's an American holiday, Walt. Uh-huh. Yeah, you have another winner for us, Walt? Tobacco. Huh. What is tobacco, Walt? That's a sort of leaf. And you bought 80 tons of it. Let me just make sure I have this right, Walt. Now, Walt, you're sending us 80 tons of leaves. Is that right, Walt? Yeah. This may come as a little bit of a surprise to you, Walt, but see, come fall here in England, Walt. Yeah, we're kind of up to our. It isn't that kind of leaf. It has a lot of different uses. What are some of the uses? Well, you know, since we are getting 80 tons of this stuff. Walt, yeah, hold on. Are you saying snuff? What is snuff, Walt? You take a pinch of tobacco. And you shove it up your nose, Walt. And what? It makes you sneeze, Walt. Gee, a goldenrod seems to do it pretty well here, Walt. Yeah, Walt, does this tobacco have any other uses? You know, just on the off chance that this snuff of yours didn't catch on right off the bat. The turkeys don't happen to eat it by any chance, do they, Walt? You can put it in a pipe, or you can spread it up, put it on a piece of paper, roll up the paper. Don't tell me, Walt, you stick it in your ear, right, Walt? Between your lips, Walt. Then what do you do to Walt? You set fire to it, Walt. You know, we've been a little worried about you, Walt. Ever since you put your cape down over all that mud. A lot of people have their cigarette right after their first cup of coffee in the morning. I'm almost afraid to ask, Walt. What's coffee, Walt? That's a drink you pound out of beans, eh, Walt? I tell you what, Walt. Yeah, why not send us a boatload of those beans? You know, you can sell people on sticking burning leaves in their mouth. They got a flip for the beans, Walt, no question about it. Well, nice talking to you, Walt. And next time, don't call us, we'll call you. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
One of the jobs I held, and really, I really was an accountant. People would say to me, were you really an accountant? I really was an accountant because, you know, why would you make that up? If you hadn't been an accountant, why would you ever tell someone you had been an accountant? Because, you know, they're not known as the wildest bunch of guys in the world. And I held a number of different accounting jobs. I had this kind of strange theory of accounting. I felt if you got within $2 or $3 of it, you know, that was close enough. But this theory that I had, it never really caught on, and as a consequence, I held a number of different accounting jobs. And it seemed like every company I went with, they would always be having this retirement party, and they were all the same. I mean, you know, there'd be different people would be retiring, and different people make the speeches, but they would all say the same tired old things. And I went to one in Chicago for a guy named Chuck Bedlow. He was retiring after 50 years, and first of all, Mr. Clayton got up. He was the president. He gave a little address. Then Mr. Tipton, the vice president, got up. He gave a little longer address. And then finally Bruce Higgins, who was the head of the accounting department, he got up, and he was Mr. Trite. You know, he would say things like, well, golly, I wouldn't give this pot to a leopard. Seriously, though, you know, it's going to seem awfully funny coming into the office this coming Monday morning and not seeing Charlie Bedlow's smiling, happy face there at the desk. I used to call him smiling, happy, easygoing Charlie Bedlow. And I guess all of us had a nickname or other that we used to call him from time to time. And the amusing thing kind of happened. When I first came with the company, I just gotten out of college, and I was a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Wet behind the ears, maybe? And many's the night that Charlie and I burnt the midnight oil. Anyway, I've taken up more than enough time. I want to bring out the guy we're all here to honor tonight, a wonderful old guy, a guy named Charlie Bedlow. Charlie Bedlow. Charlie? Well, thank you very much, Mr. Clayton and Mr. Tipton. and of course, Bruce here. I was listening to their speeches, and one thought kept sort of recurring in my mind. I think I'm going to throw up. I've never heard so much drivel in all of my life. I don't suppose it ever occurred to any of you that I had to get half smashed every morning in order to make it down to this crummy job. You'd be smiling and easygoing if you were gassed all the time, too. But you put it in there 50 years, and they give you this crummy watch. It works out to about 28 cents a year. But honestly, if it hadn't been for the $50 a week that I was able to glom out of petty cash, I don't know. I don't think I could have made it on the lousy salary they pay her. Oh, a lot of people have been asking me, you know, there's started a rumor about Miss Wilson and myself, and they're wondering if when I retire and when she comes back from her vacation in Florida, whether Mrs. Wilson, the cashier, and myself, whether we would get married and then spend our declining years together in Florida. Oh, she isn't coming back, by the way. Sweet old Miss Wilson is into this company for about $100,000. It's a little deal that she's been working on 5 years that I know about, anyway. It has something to do with payrolling. Ghost payrolling, double payrolling. I can never make heads or tails out of what the hell she was talking about, but apparently it works. Because she's down in Mexico with $100,000, and I'm up here with this crummy watch. So a lot of people say to me, Charlie, what are you gonna do when you finally retire? You're gonna get a little part-time job or become a security guard at a bank or something? Just loll around the beach. I'm going to sell some tapes from some office parties for $1,500 a copy. Well, let me take that back. The June picnic may run $17,500. You all remember the June picnic, and with the money I make off of the tapes and Miss Wilson's $100,000, I should do pretty good. Thank you very much. You've been a delightful audience. Thank you. Thank you.